To the window, to the wall. There he is, our favorite guy in the basement. He loves whiskey and dogs and family and football, and it's JA17. What's up, dude?
Good to see you, Kyle. I like that shirt. I'm a big fan of the boys.
You like the boys? Are you in?
I do. I am all the way.
Who's your guy or girl? Who's your super that you like?
I always tell Stephon Diggs he looks like A-Train. So I think by just because of that, I think I'm gonna go with A-Train. I don't really like his character all that much. He's starting to come around a little bit, but and then I actually got to meet the Deep, which I'm blanking on his name. I met him at Tony Romo's.
Was
Tony
that
Romo's
Chase Crawford?
wife's brother.
Chase Crawford, right?
Chase Crawford. That's right. Yeah, that sounds right.
Yeah.
So I met him one time in Tahoe at a golf tournament. I like his character too.
Well, his character's key because in the first episode, you think it's like this really like constructive, friendly show about superheroes, and then one scene involving the Deep changes everything. So he's massive, so to speak. I like the Deep too.
Yeah, that's a good show though.
Dude, how's life? How you doing this week? How you feeling?
Good. Just turning our focus towards Cincinnati come Sunday 3:00. That's all we can do. Tough game that we had this last week. We got it done, found a way, and that's all the playoffs is about, man. Surviving and advancing.
Well, I have my own belief about the playoffs, Josh, and I don't know if you're going to agree with this or not, but I think in the NFL playoffs, it's not how you win, it's if you win. Are you with me on that?
Oh yeah. Absolutely.
I know you have because you've been saying it, and I love it, and it's completely true. You won. You beat the Dolphins. You won another playoff game. Feel good to get the dub, right?
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, it was a hard-fought game, and obviously there's a few things that I wish we had back, but that's every game. And again, it's the playoffs. Everybody's going to bring their A game. It's a team that we've seen 3 times, and they beat us by 2 or 3 the first time we played. We beat them by 3 the last 2 times we played. So that's just kind of how these division games go.
Yeah, and Cincinnati had the same exact deal with Baltimore almost to a T. They were facing a backup quarterback, and they played him really, really hard. I'm watching the game, Josh, against the Dolphins, and I know you have this belief that you and I've talked about rookies, how they're not rookies anymore. Well, I'll refer to them as first-year players. Khalil Shakir, Kyer Elam, and Himbo Cook were all awesome. That's got to fire you up because you're going to need those guys, right?
Yeah, they stepped up for us, man. They really did. And again, at this point in the season, like they've played enough games to know the gist of what's going on and how crucial each and every play is for us. So it was really good to see those guys, especially you talk about Kyer, who's been kind of in and out, a couple little injuries, and then for him to step up in a huge matchup, that's extremely good to see for us, and he's only going to continue to get better.
Yeah, and you love Diggs and Gabe and Knox and the motor and everything. Those guys are going to be your guys, but you need those other players to step up. You're going to need them against Cincinnati. Another win right here, Josh, because the good news is it's impossible for you guys to play the Dolphins again. So this is going to officially be our last of many Christian Wilkins conversations. Let's just get it out and move on. This is the end of the anthology. Mid-game, you throw a deep ball. It gets picked off. There's a long run back. He finds you, as he's prone to do. What happened from there?
Well, again, he's doing what every defender's kind of told to do is you go find the quarterback and you try to block him and get some hits on him. And obviously, I just threw an interception. Probably wasn't in the best of moods, so I wasn't going to sit there and let him block me. So I started pushing back. And then after the play, I stopped, and I had some guys that came and backed me up, and they went to the ground. It is what it is. He's a competitor. He's a fiery guy. So am I. That's sometimes what happens.
And we've talked about it. There's this thing where there's a respect between you guys, but he's annoying as hell, and that's kind of part of his job as a Dolphin to your bill. You mentioned some of the guys, Josh. Dion comes in, takes a helmet, had it for a long time. I think he might still have that helmet. But the best take of all came from a young lady named Caitlin Morse. Caitlin Morse, Mitch's wife, goes on Twitter and says, I wonder if he would defend my honor the way he defends Josh. Caitlin with a great take. Josh, answer the question. And what's it like to hear Caitlin and the boys come to your defense?
Hey, Mitch is the ultimate guy. He's the best teammate, the best husband, the best father. I think Caitlin is in good hands with Mitch. He is one of a kind. He really is, and everybody in our locker room loves him. I know Caitlin loves him, and I know he loves her back. So that's all that matters. But again, that's my guy right there. For him to step up, and defend my honor, as Caitlin would say. He always loves seeing that from you guys because again, we spend so much time together, and I've been with Mitch for a few years now, and our relationship has just continued to grow and evolve over the last couple of years. And I freaking love the dude.
Yeah, I think the Mafia loves him too. I love him too, and I love Caitlin. I got to know, you and I talked a lot about the Josh and Britt Halloween party. Did the Morse family go big? Did they show up in costume? They get down like that?
They actually won the costume contest.
Awesome.
Believe it or not, yeah.
What'd they do?
Yeah. They were the greatest showman, and he was the bearded lady.
Oh my gosh, I love him even more now. That's so
Yeah.
cool. All right, so they're already champions.
Oh yeah, absolutely. Our team, man, when we do our little parties and stuff, like everybody shows out. Like we like to, like, our ugly sweater party that Mike and Amanda had put on for us this year. I mean, everybody goes all out. We like to have a good time with each other.
It's funny you bring that up because you're in the playoffs now and the stakes are really high and everything, but the season's really long at this point. I mean, we are in the 19, 20 weeks plus training camp. I think even if you played only high school football or college, you understand that at the end of the season, it's like, dude, this has been going on so long. How do you guys, your group right now, like, how do you keep it light? How do you cut the tension? How do you stay so invested when you've been doing this for months?
Again, we go into the building. I try to have as much fun as possible because I love what I do. So it's a lot of jokes, a lot of making fun of each other. That's how you show your love sometimes. If you're not heckling, there's not a whole lot of love going on. But man, just finding the joy in each and every, like, coming in. We understand, like, in Buffalo, like, sometimes the sun disappears for weeks at a time, right? And if we're at practice and the sun goes out, or if the sun comes out, like, everybody does a little sun dance, and like we just love it. We just enjoy being out there with each other, man. We really do, and it's such a good vibe. It's such a fun time. Guys are in the locker room playing some cornhole, playing ping pong. There's bubble hockey in there. Like, it's just like these little things that, again, keep us on our toes and keep things light. And I think Coach McDermott does a good job of that too, in some of our meetings, and just like letting guys know, like, it's okay to have fun and relax. At the end of the day, game day, that's what's important, and obviously practice is important, but you gotta be excited to come into work each and every day, and I think that guys definitely are.
Yeah, I mean, you guys are excited to come into work on snowmobiles and riding in the coach's cars this year. So when the sun comes out, you throw a party. I love it. Meanwhile, Josh, last night, Monday Night Football, it was Bucks and Cowboys, and the Cowboys really beat them up bad. But in the Manning cast, which I know you've been part of, Peyton, who is like one of my bosses here, who basically keeps the lights on here, Peyton had a blistering take that I want your reaction to. Peyton, in the middle of the game, says, quote, "I don't know if I ever made a halftime adjustment my entire 18-year career. I think that's the biggest myth in football, the halftime adjustments. You go in, you use the restroom, eat a couple oranges, and then the head coach says, all right, let's go." Where do you come out on that? Is he right?
I mean, it's Peyton Manning, so I'm definitely not going to say he's wrong. There is a point to that, though. Like, it's a 5 to 7 minute break that you're in the locker room, and sometimes, like, depending on which stadium you're in, like, sometimes your offensive coordinator doesn't walk in until like 2 minutes until you have to get out. So, like, the things that he says to you, like, again, it's like, all right, guys, we're going to continue to do this. We might think about this, but it's more of a reset. Like, come in the locker room, be like, all right, breathe for a minute. Let's talk things over. Let's reset. Let's get back out there and try to go execute. And I think that's kind of what he means. Like, there's not like this elaborate plan of like,
Yeah.
We're going to change our entire game plan and drawing stuff on the board. Like, that doesn't happen. It's more just like, all right, guys, like, we're doing this well. We're hurting ourselves. We got to stop that. Go back on the field and execute. And that's really all there is.
I hear you. I think one of the strangest parts of his take for someone who's never been in NFL halftime is Orange slices. I think of like 6-year-olds
Oh
on the
yeah,
soccer field. Do you eat orange slices at halftime? You have them?
yeah. You come in and there's orange slices. There's these little
Huh.
like little honey waffle bar deals that you can get. There's like these caffeine shakes, just to kind of give you some bump up. But yeah, it's just you go in there, you eat, there's orange slices being passed around and some other stuff, and that's about it.
Well, I would think you're probably hungry at halftime because you puked up everything before the game, right?
I mean, yeah, but again, I don't unless it's a late game, I don't eat. So when I throw up, it's usually my Gatorade that I drink right when I walk in the locker room, or
Okay.
it's just like stomach vibe, whatever it is. I get it out.
So, Josh, you talked about this before, but we've never talked about it here. You throw up before games, and it's something that I take as not as a sign of nerves or anxiety. Even if you only played football in high school, again, there's always some guy who pukes before the games. Is it more of a ritual for you, and you do it every game?
I think so now it's more of a ritual. I never
Yeah.
did it until my second year in the league, and it was just like this weird thing. Like in college, I don't know what it was about game day, but like I'd be on the
Hmm.
sideline and I'd start dry heaving, and I'm like, what the heck? And I'd get like really phlegmy. And then I would throw a ball and my thumb like would cramp up and it would get stuck right here. And I'd have to
Mm.
like pull it back. And I was actually sick in Detroit in a preseason game my second year, and I
Yeah.
actually threw up because I was pretty sick. And I went
Uh-huh.
out there and I didn't have any of those symptoms, and I was like, hold up, like we might be onto something here. So now, like again, I started doing it, and I started noticing that like my body didn't have these little weird deals on game day. So now it's just like I gotta throw up so I don't experience that, and I don't know, it just helps. It's weird.
It's
I'm
like
weird. I don't know.
it. I don't think it is that weird. Like, there's even when you were like, whatever, let's say, big surprise, I was a frat boy in college, and you would do like the boot and rally. Like, you always feel a little bit liberated and a little bit lighter and more agile after you do it. Let me ask you this: when you have something in your life that may be stressful or nerve wracking or kind of a big deal, like just away from football, does that come up then? Like, like you have to go to the DMV or you have to have some big thing in your personal life. Does that happen then?
No, never. It's only on
Hmm.
game day, like only. But again, like it's. I don't feel nervous like in my stomach. I don't feel like my heart beating any
Yeah.
faster. Like it's just like a weird thing. I do it and it helps. And I don't know. I like to think of it kind of as like a primal feeling, like a hungry warrior is gonna
Yeah.
fight harder. That's kind of how
Hmm.
I picture it. And whether that's true or not, it's what I like to think.
Yeah, I mean, even in you watch like Braveheart and Gladiator, those guys puking, like they're ready to to stab some English dudes, and they're puking, and they're like the biggest badasses on the planet. I think if it gets you there, do whatever you got to do. Like, did you puke before the Dolphins game?
Oh yeah.
God, that's fascinating. So interesting. All right, we got to move on to something else. Tom Brady played last night. You've gotten to be with him a little bit. You obviously grew up watching him. We all did in our own way. Do you think, just as a fan, because nobody's a bigger fan of the game than you, do you think that's it for him?
I don't
What do you think?
know.
It's tough.
I mean I when it happened last year and he retired, I told people I'll believe it when he's not playing the first game. And I
Right.
feel like I'm still at a similar stance. I still think he's physically able to do it. I think he's still physically one of the better quarterbacks in the league, in terms of the zip that he can put on the ball, where he puts the ball, how he processes the game. Um, like again, he's the greatest quarterback to ever play the game, like in terms of winning Super Bowls, and like he's been just this perennial name for really as long as he's been in the league, and he's been such a role model and an idol for me. I would hate to see him hang it up. Obviously,
No.
that's at some point everybody's going to have to do it. But the way that he talked in his press conference last night just kind of
Hmm.
was like it seemed a little too sentimental. Um, for my liking in terms of holding on to the belief that he's going to continue to play. But we'll see. That's up to him and the people in his life around him and how he's going to take that decision into his own hands. But I know there's going to be teams calling.
Yeah. Well, listen, he threw 66 passes last night. He finished third in the NFL in passing. So he's 45, as everybody knows. I think you're a few months from 27. What's it like, Josh, to close your eyes and imagine playing, let's say, 18 more seasons in the NFL?
I mean, I think I play a little bit of a different game than he does.
Yeah.
Yeah. Hopefully I don't. Yeah, I won't get into the body, but that's a lot. It's a lot of football. It really is, and I love the game. In my mind more than anybody. But he's given up a chunk of his life. I think he's played more leagues in the NFL. Like half his life he's been in a league. Like
Mhm.
over half his life he's been in a league, which is just unbelievable. Yeah, that's a long time. I don't
It's
know.
incredible.
It's hard to put myself in those shoes because I have absolutely no idea how that would feel like.
What do you think, Josh? You're 45. You're going to be on a farm or an island?
Golf course.
Maybe a golf course on an island that you own. That'd be great.
That would be pretty
Oh,
cool.
there it is. Speaking of that, I have a couple of things to get to, but last week you were talking about how much you love James Bond and you want to buy an Aston Martin, but your financial guy said, no, don't do it. I cannot tell you how many people have been messaging me insisting that you should do it and why don't you do it. It's totally douchey to talk about somebody else's money, but my response, Josh, is get yourself a financial advisor who tells Josh, don't buy the Aston Martin. That's what you're paying them for. Am I right? And do you want to shout the lady or the gentleman out? Because they're doing a hell of a job.
Yeah, Troy's. I mean, Troy Nance, he's my guy. He's quarterback at Syracuse. He's an absolute magician. I don't know if you've seen
Oh,
that clip.
yeah.
Yeah. Oh yeah. So
That's your
he's
guy?
that's my guy. He's got a few guys in the
Cool.
league. He's the best. He really is. And I'm not gonna sit here and just say like poor me. Like I've got a couple toys in my garage. I just don't have anything
I know.
to the Aston Martin level,
Yeah.
it's but I do have a hard time. Like I know that you can say whatever you want, and I know my contract is all out there for everybody to
Of
see.
course.
Still a lot of money to spend on a car, and something just like tears me apart thinking about it. So one day maybe I'll feel a little more comfortable doing it, but until we get to then, I'll stick to. I just traded in my truck for a TRX right now, so that thing drives pretty fast too.
Oh, hell yeah. Okay. Vanity plate?
You said what now?
Do you have a vanity plate? Like
What is
it's a
that?
special license plate with your nickname? Like your nickname on the license plate
Oh,
or
no,
something?
no,
That's what
no.
that's called. No,
No, just
not
a
yet.
regular random state issued. I don't want people knowing what I'm driving. And did I say TRX? I meant Raptor R. That's what I meant.
I don't talk car. What the Raptor is either a basketball team or a dinosaur. What is that?
Both.
But
The
you drive
Raptor
one? You have a
is
Raptor?
there's a Raptor like there are different kinds, but the Ford Raptor is obviously it's Ford, and the Ram TRX that's Dodge. So it's just the two
Mm,
competing trucks against each other, and there's been a lot of comparisons about each. Like the Ram TRX has like one or two
yeah.
more horsepower than the Raptor R, but the Raptor R's got bigger tires, and it's they're like the exact same truck, just different.
Oh, that's awesome. All right. Well, I love it. I don't talk car, but I love listening to you talk car, and I love the Aston Martin as well. I love Bills Bengals. It's this weekend. It's weird, Josh, because it's a rematch, but it's actually kind of not a rematch. How do you feel about the challenge this weekend? This is a great team.
It's a great team. They're playing some really good ball right now. Logan Wilson, my college teammate, made an unbelievable play in the last week's game. Their defense is playing extremely hard right now, so we're gonna have our hands full. And again, on the other side of the ball is Joe Burrow, and he's got a lot of different weapons that he can get the ball to at any time, and he's playing some dang good football too. So again, yeah, it's gonna be a 60-minute, maybe more fight. We're
Hmm.
ready for it. Gonna have a good week of practice, and you know, given the circumstances of the last time we stepped on the field, I'm sure it's gonna be a little bit emotional. And I will say that I've got so much respect for the Bengals, their staff, their organization, and their players after everything that kind of transpired, and the way that we were able to come together and kind of talk with them. They were extremely, you know, open to the whole concept of not continuing the game, and like making sure that we were okay. And got a lot of
Hmm.
respect for them.
And I think it's mutual. the Damar Hamlin part of this is there. The last time you stepped on the field against this team, it was a very, very difficult night for everybody. As you go and prepare for the same matchups, and then when you take the field against the same team and the same opponents, does that stuff creep in there? Does it come surging back? How do you handle that?
No, I mean, I think again, just the good news that we get on the whole situation like that just makes us feel that much better.
Yeah.
I know guys have been able to see him, and he's still got a ways to go, but he's doing much better, and it's so good to again hear that. So we step on the field, it'll be all ball, and again, like you said, and we said we're gonna have our hands full. It's a team coming into our house, and the divisional round. It's our biggest game of the year, and it's win or go home.
You said it's going to be 60 minutes or longer. This game goes to OT. Do you do the coin toss, and what do you call?
Yeah. Well, we're home, so they would actually call the toss.
You're right.
So I don't have to worry about that.
You're right. Josh, I didn't even think about that, but obviously you did. Listen, you credited Bills Mafia last week. Home playoff game, showed out. They were tremendous. This week's massive because even if you win, this could potentially be your last home game of the year. How do you want them to show up this week? Talk to them.
We're gonna need them, and I called them out this last press conference. We're gonna need everything they got. When if they can force a delayed game or a false start, the momentum that we can feel from the fans. I don't think people understand it, and I think that's why home field is so important in the playoffs. So yeah, we're gonna need Bills Mafia. I know they're chomping at the bit to get back to Highmark Stadium and cheer us on.
Can't wait. One of the most important chapters of the season for the Bills. Couple of victories in the state of Michigan, as you know. Speaking of winning in Michigan, let's go to Flint, Michigan, home of the Flint Tropics, owned by Jackie Moon, coached by Jackie Moon, power forward Jackie Moon. Josh, I watched Semi-Pro. We have done 5 months of you watching movies, and I said, I'm going to tap in. You worry about the playoffs. You assigned me Semi-Pro starring Will Ferrell. Would you like to hear my thoughts on the movie? Because I finished it about 45 minutes ago.
I would love to hear your thoughts on the movie.
All right, first-time viewer. I love your advice going into the movie. You were like, yeah, probably don't want to watch it with the kids, which was really good advice. I don't think my 9-year-old would have been ready for Jackie Moon's wife, although I was very ready for her. The recipe of the ragtag group of misfits banding together, figuring it out, getting to the end, and getting the big win is an undefeated recipe. I love them. I love the movie. I found myself laughing out loud at how dirty it was. And I think it was a great recommendation. Do you have a favorite part, or why do you love Semi-Pro?
Well, again, I'm a big Will Ferrell fan, and again, you throw in Woody Harrelson, Andre from Outcast. There's some great back and forth banter, just the little one-ups, him making the song "Love Me Sexy," but then Dick Pepperfield and Lou Redwood when they're talking together, and it's
the best.
When they're playing poker. And they're doing the gun scene, right?
Right.
He goes, I know you slept with my wife. And he goes, we're laughing at things that aren't true, especially that one. And then he goes, James Bond throws it on the ground. Yeah. The gunshot goes off. And then Dick Pepperfield goes, we literally just dodged a bullet. And he goes, well, except for Cornelius. And he goes, I did get shot. It's just the little stuff. It's oh man, the little quick banter, and I guarantee you, most of that stuff was ad-libbed because of the cast, and it was so good.
That was awesome. I love the quick stuff that I loved was when Jackie's actually in the basketball games, and he would call for it on the low post, and they'd throw it to him and be like, no, I don't like it, and just right back, and again, no, I don't like it. And my favorite scene was when he was trying to keep his own team from scoring so they wouldn't get the free corn dogs. And and Coffee Black is dribbling. He's like, he likes to go to his right. You need a screen. All the basketball stuff from Ferrell was perfect. I was laughing my ass off. It was great.
Yeah, it really is. And I mean, there's so many just different clips in that movie where you can just go back and laugh at that one specific moment. I love it. It's such a good movie.
Yeah. Enough with the porking of the wives and sisters. Like I laughed out loud 15 times during the movie. If this plexiglass was in here, I'd make love to all of you, including the men. It had a little Will Ferrell and a little Anchorman, and there was even inexplicably another scene with a grizzly bear, just like Anchorman. What's up with that?
Dewey, yeah, he's just trying to get the crowd there, and nobody panic, everybody stay calm, and Spumoni. That's the safe word too.
Spumoni. Yeah, he says it. How many times I gotta say Spumoni? All right, we're gonna get to my assignment, and then you're gonna go, and hopefully you're gonna beat the Bengals. You know what else I watched this week, and I just want to bounce this one off you. I haven't watched it in a long time. I watched Any Given Sunday. Are you an Any Given Sunday guy?
Don't hate me. I've never seen it.
Okay, so it's the Al Pacino, the Jamie Foxx. You've never seen that one. I thought you'd seen all the football movies.
No.
You got to get to it.
I've not seen Any Given Sunday. I do know it's Jamie Foxx though. So I'll have to watch that one because I've heard enough about it that it's pretty good. So.
All right, your job is to go out and try to beat the Bengals. Give me a title. What do I got this week? I'll watch it for you.
So I'm a big comedy guy, so I'm just gonna rattle out some comedies if you haven't seen them.
Okay.
So we got Hot Rod. You seen Hot Rod? Andy Samberg.
With Andy Samberg, I've not seen Hot Rod. Should we just stop it right there, or do you want to try another?
No, because I want to give you a couple options. Hot Rod. We got The Interview. James Franco and Seth Rogen, which is hilarious.
Nope.
This Is the End.
Yes, I've seen that.
Okay, so we'll cross that one out. You've seen Super Troopers, right?
I've never seen Super Troopers.
Okay.
I feel embarrassed.
I think Super Troopers might be the one. It's like a
okay, tell me.
It's like, I guess it'd be like an early 2000s. It's kind of like a low production movie. It's got characters you've probably never heard of. It's about a cop precinct, and they're about to get shut down because, again, they're not pulling enough people over. But when they do pull people over, it's like they try to make a little joke out of it, and it's pretty hilarious. Like the opening scene may be the greatest opening scene in any comedy movie of all time.
Oh, it's huge. Okay. Rated R?
Yeah, probably rated R. So.
Okay, I like it.
Yeah.
But you know what? It's so funny that we're doing this because for months I'd be like, you haven't seen Shawshank? You haven't seen Predator? You haven't seen... And you'd be like, I'm sorry. I'm like, I haven't seen The Interview. I haven't seen Super Troopers. But I will watch it. I will have a full review. And I'm hoping we're sitting here a week from now after a win over the Bengals. And I think we will be, dude.
No, same here. But to your point, Super Troopers, it's kind of like a little... It's kind of like a frat boy like type of movie. Yeah, and you'll get that. You'll catch that when you watch it.
All right, that's it. I will watch Super Troopers. I am going to Buffalo this weekend. I'm going to the game. Maybe I run into you. If I do, if I don't, I love you. I'm rooting for you. I always thank you, man.
Love you too. Appreciate you. We'll see each other. I'm sure we will.
All right, brother.
All right. See you guys.
Later, man.